Hello everybody. What might Charlotte have been hinting at regarding her championship trajectory? Drew reflects on the ferocity of the cell, and has one of Raw Talk's personalities brought a plague of both the houses of Patrick and Truth? I'm Casualeann. Come with me. Segment 1, as always, begins with Kevin, Patrick, and R-Truth. Once again, we haven't seen Akira Tozawa since he won the 24/7 title. Truth is writing down something on a piece of paper. Kevin Patrick thinks he's being quite studious and diligent about taking notes, and turns out he's just writing 24/7. He just wanted to bring it back up. He correctly derives that we have not forgotten about him losing the 24/7 title. I know I haven't. Has WWE forgotten about it? Kevin Patrick asks for R-Truth's take on Hell in a Cell and informs us of what was a 5-match card, now a 6-match card, with 3 from the Red brand. So Bobby Drew, Charlotte Rhea, and Shayna Alexa. He wants to know which match Truth is looking forward to the most. And he talks about the ferocity of the feud over the women's championship. He also mentions Drew Bobby, but mostly that Charlotte Flair's nose was busted. They discuss Shayna Baszler versus Alexa Bliss. R-Truth calls the new Fiend Creepy Alexa. And he tells Kevin Patrick that he keeps his ear to the streets, and Kevin Patrick should do the same in finding out where the 24/7 title is. And Kevin Patrick promises once again to help R-Truth. Where is this headed? I am getting tired of a missing title. These weak, empty vacillations between interfering with the comedic title picture and being impartial, it's just weird. I want creative to pick a lane, even with a comedic title, and stick to it. They also discuss Drew and the Viking Raiders winning the 6-man tag versus AJO and Bobby Lashley. They note that the Viking Raiders, being not far removed from the British Isles, kind of helped Drew out when Lashley attacked him. So AJ's surprise tag threw Lashley off enough for him to not see the Claymore coming. You know, because the best way to build momentum is to make the champion look crazy in a random tag on the go-home episode of Raw. Anyway, R-Truth asks Kevin Patrick for his prediction. Of course, he's always doing that, and Kevin's always like, oh, I'm an impartial journalist. I don't want to comment. I don't want to speculate. This time, he starts with, here's the thing. And he says the Dubliners struggle with TH. Now, Dubliners struggling with the kind of unvoiced consonant cluster, TH. I had no idea about that. I learned something new. Kevin Patrick vows to give him his prediction if Truth doesn't say anything about it in front of the guests. And so, of course, I think, all right, now he has to slip up and say something. But in his opinion, it's Bobby. Now, in my opinion, well, what was my opinion? You got to check out the predictions video, and it's already posted, to see what I thought about Hell in a Cell and to see how wrong I may have been. When a prediction is given, Truth accuses Kevin Patrick of trying to get to him because he knows that Drew is his dog. Promptly, with the swiftness, he says he's gonna tell Drew when he gets out what Kevin Patrick said. He's one of the guests. Quick turn on him. RK Bro won against the New Day for the first time. They also talk about that. And Kevin Patrick emphasizes their 11-time championship reign. Now, Truth regards Randy as the best. And Kevin Patrick asks if Truth admires Randy for tolerating Riddle. And Truth responds a lot. And somehow all that gets to shrimp on the Barbie again. I have no idea how. Truth says that he's just testing Kevin Patrick and takes the opportunity to then segue into someone who actually puts shrimp on the Barbie, the WWE Women's Champion, Rhea Ripley, who is actually Australian and defeated Asuka. Charlotte and Rhea went at it on this episode of Raw. It was a total melee with about a dozen men attempting to pry them apart. Kevin Patrick hopes Truth will help, as he's usually in the Queen's pocket when she comes. He replies that it's an NC connection. He knows how to give them their space. He's sensing already that Charlotte is not going to be in a terrific mood after she got her nose busted. They announce the guests. They're going to be Charlotte, Drew McIntyre, and Alexa Bliss. KPZ expresses some anxiety at the mention of that final guest. We get a commercial break, and segment 2 is with Charlotte. I literally have again listed next to segment 2 in my notes. I've been doing these reviews for only about a month and a half, and in that brief time span, Charlotte has appeared on Raw Talk 3 different times. I don't care if she's in the women's title hunt. That's too much. I'm sorry, it's too much. She's got kind of a gold and black catsuit on. I love the colors, but the cut just wasn't my favorite. I felt like on Charlotte's frame, it made her look a little bit masculine, but Truth immediately, as Kevin Patrick feared, threw him under the double-decker, because he says that after what she endured, he would have been content to let Charlotte go home. But Kevin Patrick wanted her to stay. She clarifies there's nothing personal between she and Rhea, but she is just training her how to be a champion in her division. She is women's wrestling. Rhea bloodied Charlotte's nose. She wiped it off, and she says now she is back looking pretty as the Queen looks in front of them. She is definitely Ric Flair's daughter. She will be the 14-time women's champion at Hell in a Cell, meaning that she's almost at 16. Uh-oh. My money was on Randy to get past 16, but how apropos would it be for Ric's daughter to break his record? I'm down for either at this point. Both? So the question is posed. Can she suppress her emotions? Charlotte notes it takes passions and emotions in order to win, and Rhea will have to get past her in order to stay champion. Kevin Patrick reminds her that she can't actually win the title if she gets disqualified. She retorts with a brilliant line. She says, "You think I need the title to be Charlotte Flair?" Mic drops. This is decidedly not a heel line, kind of the desperation of one's identity being wrapped up in this prize. It wasn't there. It's kind of outside her actions on Raw as well, but it was brilliant nonetheless. She'll be Charlotte Flair whether or not she's the Raw Women's Champion. Please, let said logic hold in WWE Creative. At the time of filming, I don't know whether this will intimate that Charlotte actually lost, but by the time this video is posted, Hell in a Cell will already have aired. So we'll see if Charlotte's words were prophetic. Kevin Patrick asks Truth if Charlotte is in control of her emotions after she's left, considering the referee's assault and the mic drop just now. Is it possible Rhea may actually live in her mind? Truth acknowledges that that is actually a good point, and he hasn't seen her like that. They note that Alexa Bliss is descending from the playground to the Raw Talk set. Kevin Patrick, like a parent getting ready to take the kids to the unstable uncle's house, tells Truth, "Just watch what you say, please." Following a commercial break, Alexa is before us in segment 3. Kevin Patrick thanks her for joining them, and the creepy lighting has already accompanied her from the playground. When asked what happened in the match with Nia, Alexa takes a moment to enlighten / creep us out. She says they used to like Reginald, but now they don't. And he may have to be put in timeout like Lily was, because when you do something wrong, you must be punished. Now this childlike language with the simple sentence structure is part of what makes Alexa so disturbing. I'm not a huge fan of The Fiend, whether depicted by Bray Wyatt or Alexa Bliss. You know, I'm sorry, but I was just way more into the cult leader Bray Wyatt. Alexa does do, though, what she does extremely well. She's asked, how does Lily feel about the situation with Shayna? She says, well, you can't hurt Lily, but there are people she likes and people she doesn't like. She never liked Shayna, but liked Reginald because he was from Cirque du Soleil. She also likes Truth and wants him to come to the playground. Now at this, that candid Southerner came out because Truth immediately slips up and calls her creepy Alexa. Almost like a reflex. He says that people say she's a whack job. He isn't. And then she laughs in his face. And laughs and laughs and laughs. Then the smile drops and she says, seriously, she's not a whack job. He asks, what's going to happen on Sunday? And she replies, if you thought what happened last week to Shayna was bad, wait until Hell in a Cell. I'm glad that they handled what happened in the way that they did, meaning Nia fighting on Shayna's behalf and keeping Shayna off TV. It builds some suspense and it doesn't destroy the mystique, because you wonder like, oh, what did happen? Then the next time we see her, it's at Hell in a Cell. And commentators can kind of speculate on her state of mind with 2 weeks in between the viewings and with us seeing her now with fresh eyes after she's been gone. Can't hurt. So Alexa leaves. And Truth is absolutely spooked. Oh my goodness. He is done. He is like almost in a begging sort of tone. He's like, don't bring her back, KP. And Kevin Patrick's like, why does Lily like you? What did you do? And Truth responds, the hell if I know. She talks to a doll that talks back to her. Now Truth blames everything on Kevin Patrick. His 24/7 championship loss and Alexa's appearance. Kevin Patrick turns it around and tells him to take responsibility for his actions. Patrick does take a step back and takes responsibility for the 24/7 championship, but he's not to blame for Truth being there beside Alexa. Truth sobers, says he's going to apologize for calling Alexa creepy, and the lights start to flicker and dim. He reiterates, do not bring her back. Kevin Patrick gets spooked and says, this is over the line. This is completely different from his little baby 24/7 championship. Yes, everybody keep bringing it up. I like Akira Tozawa, but that actually makes this all the more ridiculous. Either have him defend the title or have him lose it. But do something. We get one more commercial break, and the final segment is with Drew McIntyre. Again, they ask, how did it feel to Claymore, the WWE champion? And he notes that he's been telling him week after week, month after month, what feels like year after year, it does for us too, that he would finally know what it was like. And now he's been able to give him a taste of Sunday. He hopes now that the WWE champion will take things a bit more seriously. So reminding McIntyre of Bobby kind of continuing that William Wallace story, specifically that he was going to put his head on a pike, Kevin Patrick asks his opinion. Now, Drew has been super into Scottish history in his promos lately, and I'm wondering if that's kind of prefacing a new character for him. But Truth interjects. He says that the Claymore was going to give Lashley the Hershey squirts that night. I barely got through that. And everybody cracks up. And after they recover from that, Drew emphasizes his experience that he understands what the cell does to people. Now remember, Bobby has never been in Hell in a Cell before. He knows how seriously one has to prepare for it. He says he's watched Mike Tyson and he notes how he was beating everyone, but then he started enjoying the accoutrements of his success. That's when he got beat by Buster Douglas. He says the same thing is going to happen with Bobby Lashley via the Claymore. He said he was going to do it. Truth then tells Drew about Kevin Patrick calling the match for Bobby. Drew takes it in stride, saying he could have been partying with the Viking Raiders tonight, but he knew he had to take care of business while Kevin Patrick was trash talking him. He reminds people that he gets no more shots at this while Bobby's the champ if he loses in the cell. One final note about the experience gap, he says that Randy Orton tried to warn him. He said that he can't prepare for Hell in a Cell. He notes some early Hell in a Cell matches. So Taker Michaels, Taker Mick Foley, they ended up falling for feet into the table. Drew bit his tongue through and still lost the match. Kevin Patrick asks how the match will end, and Drew counts silently down on his hand. Claymore. Drew heads out, says if Kevin Patrick changes his prediction, maybe he'll get invited to the party. And Kevin Patrick is like so distraught. He's like, man, this is the second week he hasn't been invited to something, and Truth replies that he needs to change his attitude and his ways. So Kevin Patrick, trying to get him back, reminds Truth of Alexa and Lily coming for him. And he wouldn't want to be Truth right now. Hey, why not? Give us something new. Maybe Lily can help Truth get the title back. Maybe make Akira Tozawa fall asleep or hypnotize him in public or something. I don't know. What do I think? Truth makes this show. And if not for him, the one-liners, kind of the enthusiasm, the ribbing, this play between he and Kevin Patrick, this would have been even tougher to get through. I give it a 3 out of 5. There were more repeats with Charlotte, with Drew, and despite Alexa's performance, I think some of the mystique was lost with her actually being on Raw Talk. I'm wondering if it should be more of a Taker type thing where she's not quite visible until like some really, crazy things, really serious stuff is about to happen. But overall, I thought it was just kind of an average show. That was Raw Talk from June 14th. How was Hell in a Cell without a Roman Reigns Ray cell match? What were your overall impressions of Hell in a Cell? Let me know in the comments. And be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. That is how my channel grows and gets recommended to others, so it helps when you do. Tap that bell icon to enable notifications. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you soon.